Hello and welcome back to AutoCAD in 20 hours. This video covers sections 5.3 and 5.4. Look at your YouTube settings. Click on the settings button, the little wheel. Click on the quality and set it to an HD setting. That may or may not be possible. It depends on the speed of your internet connection. This is where we left off last time. And now we are going to draw some insulation. First, come down here to your object snap settings at the bottom. Right click and click and set this quadrant to on. You can do it here, or you can click on settings and you can do it here. It's a little easier to see here. So the quadrant here is on already. Okay. Now back in the main screen, click on the circle and just click out here in space somewhere and type D, enter, enter, and then click on the screen and escape. Now we're going to copy this and we'll grab it by that quadrant icon and we're going to just put a series of 4 of them together. That's what we're using in the book. Click on the line, click on the quadrant icons again. Now click on the trim, enter right away, and let's go opposite sides. Trim that out. Select the center line, delete it. Now we are going to create an 8-foot line with the ortho on. Actually, let's just start right here. You could just kind of do this almost by eye and turn the ortho on F8. Just come over, type 12, enter. It doesn't really matter. Then come straight down, type 8 foot, enter, and then 12, enter, and then escape to get out of that command. So now we're going to make a little chain of these half circles. Use the copy button and grab it by the end, and then we'll just go ahead and make a chain of them. And once we get maybe so far, let's stop, escape, and do it again. It just speeds up the process. You can see now it's, if you had to go a real long distance, you could keep doing it in multiples like that. And now we're going to take everything up to this 8-foot line and we're going to delete it. So now we've got an 8-foot chain. Now we just get rid of this here. Erase it. Let's copy this twice. And now we're going to use the scale tool. So here on the modify toolbar, come down until you find the scale button. Click on that. Read the command line. It says to select objects. I'm going to escape there. That's the wrong one. Once again, scale, select objects. There we go. I'm going to enter. And just click somewhere in the middle here for the base point. And then it wants a scale factor, you'll see down at the command line. So here I'm going to type 1.5, enter. Then I'm going to repeat that same process with the second one here. Click in the middle. Scale factor this time is 2, enter. Now we're going to take all of those and we're going to copy them down in here someplace. Exact placement doesn't matter, just click them down into there. Click on the rotate button. Surround them all with a selection window. Click approximately in the middle. Read the command line. It says specify rotation angle. type 90, enter. So now we have 3 different sizes and 3 different configurations. Let's take and copy this first one here, and let's just grab it by the end, turn the ortho off, F8, and we'll come over here and we will, let's actually now turn the O snap off. That's F3, or the button down at the bottom. And let's just set this by I. It takes it a minute on mine to regenerate, so let's just try and figure out. It's going to be about in the center of this wall, so let's click it there. And you can see here it comes down a little too far, so let's escape to get out of the copy command, and let's get rid of these two and delete them or erase them. And we can now repeat that process. Copy. I'll use a blue selection window this time. Grab it by the top. I'm going to turn the O snap back on again just to grab it. And then I'm going to turn the O snap off. And I'm going to come here and click just below the center of this wall. I'm just going to click it by I in there. Go down to the bottom once again. Escape. Select these two and delete them. Now, in order to get over to the other side of the wall, I could use the mirror. Let's try and use the mirror. So it says to select objects, and I'm going to come in here, and it allows me to repeatedly do that. Repeatedly select objects. So I can just come in here and select all of these. Okay, then I'm going to enter, and it says specify the first point of the mirror line. We need to have the O snap on again. F3 on the keyboard turns it on. Pick up the center midpoint icon, and this time we can just click on the center midpoint at the bottom. It disappears, and when we enter it reappears, and there you see it filled up the other side of the wall. Okay, so now the other ones, you can figure them out yourself. They grab this, copy this lower one up into this joist space. You can kind of set it by eye, somewhere in the middle. It doesn't have to be exact. These are just representational. And then you can grab a part of it and extend it out. And I told you were going to do it yourself, but I'm actually doing it for you. Let's copy this one here. You got to start with the right part of the chain in order for it to work. And then you can see you can just copy it along into there and into there. And then do the same thing with the upper joist there. These videos have a 15-minute maximum for YouTube, so I'm going to go ahead and move on now. Let's take and copy this whole cross section now. Make a copy of it, just anywhere over here in space. And let's click on the circle button, and then just somewhere in here, somewhere near the center of that depiction that's in the book, click, type D for diameter, enter, 3-foot enter. Hold on a second now. This is not exactly right. Okay, I can see this is supposed to be 5 foot, so I'm going to erase that circle somewhere in there, just around the middle of the top of the wall. D, enter, 5-foot enter. And now we can just copy that. There is a center point icon in there. It's actually too far jumbled up, but You can just click somewhere near the center of it because the base point can be anywhere you want, and then come down and click in the center of those joists there. Now let's hit the rectangle button and come over here and click on the pointy part of the roof there. Type D for dimensions and enter. Then type 18-foot enter, 15-foot enter. Well, that didn't really work, but let's go ahead and click on the screen. And now I'm going to go ahead and just move that because I'm going to run out of time here. So just click somewhere in the middle of it and then come up here and click it onto there. Okay, now we're going to trim everything around on the outside of the circle and the rectangle. So hit the trim and enter. And we just go along, and my computer just froze up again. There it comes. There it comes back. Sometimes when you're trimming a lot of things out, the computer finds it sort of tough to keep up with it. So we just trim everything out, and we can zoom in here and trim these out. Okay, and zoom in here and trim these out. Okay, and then one more down here. Trim these out here, and this out here. And then we're going to take and erase everything else. Just go through a series of erasures. I'm going to pause this and clean it up and get back to you because I'm running out of time. And then here's the last erasure here. Delete. Okay. Now I'm going to make a copy of this section. And I'm going to put a 3-foot circle around this area here. Just once again, I'm going to set it kind of by eye, 3-foot enter. Okay, once again, I didn't do that right. Let me delete this because this time I want, well, I want the diameter again. So I've got to tell it that I want the diameter. So click here, then type D, enter, and then 3-foot enter. Click in the screen to set it. And once again, I'm going to erase and trim everything. So trim, enter. Isolate it with the trim. And then I'm going to erase everything else, and I'm going to okay, well, I'll just go ahead and do that real quick. Delete. I'm using the delete on the keyboard. You can also right click and hit erase there. Right click and hit erase there. Okay, so now all we need to do is scale these up. And in order to do that, we're going to hit the scale button, select these, click in the middle, type 3, enter for this one. We're going to type, no, this one, we're going to type for this one 4, enter. And for this, and then we're going to make another copy of this here. And that we are going to scale up by 2, enter. And that's going to be it for this video. Visit us at AutoCAD in 20hours.com.